Almonte's Key Food, proudly serving communities throughout Brooklyn, Queens, and Long Island for over 30 years. When you shop Key Food, you'll always find fresh products, great weekly specials, and exceptional personalized service. Visit at any of their Key Food stores at 8235 153rd Avenue, Lindenwood, New York, 935 Rosedale Road, Valley Stream, New York, and 6620 Avenue U, Brooklyn, New York.
You can get mad at me all you want. You yelled at me because I called him a terrorist. You want a terrorist sympathizer. It's all nonsense, okay? At the end of the day, everything this guy does and says is, I hate the Jews. There was no reason for him not to be there yesterday. That was on Fifth Avenue in New York City. Some of you dopes walking yesterday actually voted for this guy. That doesn't do with Bibi or Israel. He just hates the Jews. He hates me and he hates Randy Fine. He may hate you as much as he hates me.
I hope he does. If he doesn't, it doesn't mean I'm doing my job right.
At this point, as one of our most valued congressmen and one of Trump's favorites, you mean that, don't you? You really want this mayor to hate you because you're one of the few people that says a lot of the same things that I say, and you don't care, do you?
No, because if we don't speak out against evil, evil will win. And their strategy is to bully us and threaten us and label us to get us to stop talking. Look, this guy said globalize the Intifada. That means kill the Jews. He said he doesn't believe in the state of Israel. That means kill all the Jews over there. The statements that you make should not be considered controversial, but they want to try to do that to demonize you and to get you to shut up. If we shut up, we die. That's why we have to be vocal about it.
Really the bottom line. So, like I said, people came to me and said, you shouldn't call him a terrorist.
He is a terrorist.
Right, but because here's where they're silly. They think terrorist means he's got a gun, he's got a bomb. Absolutely not. You can be a terrorist with your words.
Is the person who funds the terrorists a terrorist?
Of course.
The person who defends the terrorist a terrorist?
Of course.
Is the government that hosts the terrorist a terrorist?
Of course.
Yeah, you don't have to be the person with the bomb strapped to your chest to be the terrorist. If you believe in terrorism, you're a terrorist. And he clearly does.
Look at his best buddy, the face of campus terrorism, this lowlife scumbag who should be deported, Mahmoud Khalil. You can tell me that guy's not a terrorist?
He is a terrorist. He stood and he terrorized kids at Columbia University, made them scared. Some guy who's been in the country for 13 years as a student. What are you doing for 13 years getting an education? He is friends with, he supports, he justifies, he advocates, he makes excuses for terrorists. That makes him a terrorist.
And the problem is, again, the great congressman out of Florida, Randy Fine, we're discussing this at the break with our lovely friend Emily Austin. He's not the only one. This is becoming a pandemic in our country of these DSA candidates. You got one running tomorrow against Spencer Pratt and Karen Bass, but she's not even as dangerous as some of these other ones. You got a guy in Michigan, you got a guy in Colorado. You got people all over this country, Randy, that are every bit as bad as Mamdani. I'm not going to say worse because I think he's about as bad as it gets, but this is becoming a big issue across our nation.
Yeah, I am focused on this woman who came in first in the primary in Texas and then got 40% in the runoff after the whole Democratic establishment came out against her, who said she wanted to put all American Jews in concentration camps.
She lost, Galindo, no?
She did lose, but she still got 40%. Look at the guy in Maine who's got a Nazi tattoo on his chest. Look at the Muslim terrorist who's running in Michigan who hangs out with Hamas and Hezbollah. This is a real issue, and if we do not start to speak aggressively and truthfully about it, we will lose. We have to be as aggressive in telling the truth as they are in lying.
How about the people around you? Does Mike Johnson ever say to you, hey, Randy, I love you, but take it easy, okay? Or President Trump? Has anybody around you in the political world, not the, I don't care what the writers say or other people say, has anybody in your political realm said to you, hey, Randy, we're with you, but take it easy?
All the time, but here's what I would say to them. We live in 1932 Germany today. We live in a time in 1932 Germany, there were two kinds of Jews, those who left and those who died. Today we have a new kind of Jew, the Jew that will fight. None embody that better than what we see in Israel. And so we have to tell the truth. What I've learned in my year in Washington is Democrats are viciously focused on destroying the country, and most Republicans want to manage our decline politely. I'm there to fight, and I'm not going to apologize for it.
So if somebody said to you, hey, Randy, if you don't calm down here, this could be it. Something tells me that Randy Fine, that in terms of integrity and what you believe in, that you'd rather go down that way than change anything you do and or say to make those people happy.
Of course, I don't live in fear of judgment of the voters. I live in fear of the judgment of my children. When my time on this earth comes to an end, it won't be the people who voted for me who come to my funeral. It will be my kids. And my kids will ask the question, was Dad serving in Congress worth it? Did he use the time to save America and to make it better? That's what keeps me up at night. I don't really care what the naysayers have to say.
And what do your kids say, your kids and your wife? They go, Dad, I'm proud of you. Because my kids, for the most part, they do. They yell at me. I'm not going to lie to you. They go, Dad, why did you say that? I go, when you get to host your own radio show, sweetheart, you can say whatever you want to say, but I do get that occasionally. Dad, why did you say that?
It's hard for them. I'm not going to lie, but they know why I do what I do. You know, I wear a kippah every day because my oldest son asked me to, because he had Jewish friends that go to college who didn't feel safe wearing theirs.
Harvard, right?
No, that's where I went to school.
Okay.
My son's about to go to the Naval Academy, so I'm very proud of him.
Wow, how about that?
But you know, it is important that we be willing to be a good example for our kids, that we fight for them. This is a dangerous time for America and for the world. The only thing holding back evil in the world today, there are only two countries that are even trying. It's Israel and the United States. Western Europe is gone. Just look at the videos coming from over there. So if we don't stand up, if we don't fight back against the lunatics like Mamdani and the DSA, it's over, because Israel is little. We're at least big. And if we don't fight them as aggressively as they fight us, we will lose. And I'm not willing to let that happen.
Are you worried about the future for Israel if in fact, this Iran deal gets met? At least I've been told. I haven't seen it, okay? But there is some loosening of restrictions, money, okay? And we know that Obama and Biden did a lot of that, and that's how, in the end, Iran ended up funding all their proxy terror groups, all of them. I don't know how much we're going to let go, how much easier it's going to be for those guys, but are you worried that in a potential deal that Iran will once again be able to rebuild some of the stuff we saw back in 2023?
I trust Donald Trump, and there are three things we have to get done in a deal with Iran. No nuclear weapon, no missile that could deliver nuclear weapon to the United States, and a free and open Strait of Hormuz. And I trust President Trump to get that done. But, you know, you asked about, am I worried about the future of Israel? I'm actually pretty confident that 50 years from now, Israel will still be there. What I worry about is the United States of America. And when I see these people, when I see people that I serve with in Congress, when I see the mayor of New York, you talk about how he hates the Jews. I think he hates the United States of America, too.
Oh,
he
sure.
certainly hates the values of the United States of America. When he talks about taking people's property away, this is America. If people want to go be communists, leave.
Yeah.
And so I worry about the future of our country much more than I worry about the future of Israel.
That's fair. Don't forget, move away from the Jews for a second. When Cardinal Dolan was removed by Pope Leo and he installed Ronald Hicks, and we talk about how the mayor was the first mayor ever not to be at the parade yesterday, he also did not go to St. Patrick's Cathedral for Ronald Hicks' installation, really screwing the Catholics and the Christians. He did the same thing to those guys. Same thing.
But he'll show up at the mosques where the imam says we're going to use the sword to strike down the infidel. That's totally fine. I mean, he is a bad guy who, frankly, he should not only not be the mayor of New York, he should not be a citizen of the United States of America. The guy lied to become a citizen. He never should have been allowed to become one. And frankly, the solution to him as mayor of New York is to denaturalize and deport him back to his home country of Uganda.
Can we do that?
Sure we can. I mean, I think the focus right now is looking at Ilhan Omar, another person who lied in their naturalization papers. One of the things I've learned in Congress is I've come to believe that illegal immigration was just a distraction to make us stop looking at what they were doing on legal immigration. The legal immigration system is a joke. Legal immigration should be about people who love America, share our values, and want to add to this country. Instead, we allowed all these people coming in who hate America, want to destroy it, and want to change our values. We've got to fix that too. The problems facing this country are enormous, and it's why we need people fired up to make sure that we can continue to do the job that President Trump and guys like me were elected to do.
Let me rewind this for 1 second. You know, there are people that wake up every day trying to figure out how to get rid of this guy. They've asked me to run for mayor in 2029. And, you know, Jessica Tisch or somebody like that will probably be his biggest competitor because he already thinks he's going to win again. Rewinding the tape, you said that you think there's a chance that we can get this guy out of here. He could be deported. You really do?
I think it's a small chance, but it is clear, it is unambiguous that he was not honest in his immigration papers. He is a naturalized citizen, and he did not disclose the kinds of relationships that would have kept you from becoming a citizen. So absolutely, it should be done. Whether people will have the courage or not to do it, I don't know. Not everyone's like me.
No, they're not. This is the amazing fighter, Congressman Randy Fine from the great state of Florida. And, you know, you've got a guy you're taking on who you're going to destroy. It's not even worth mentioning him, but we may as well. And he's about as radical a Jew hater as Mamdani is. Dan Blizzard. I can't even say his name. I don't care. But
I just call him the little Armenian. He's not from America. He's a dual citizen. And I don't think look, I filed a bill that said foreigners shouldn't serve in Congress, whether they're from Armenia or whether they're from Israel. Foreigners should not be able to serve in Congress. And a big part of our problem in Congress today is there may be dozens of members of Congress who are citizens of other countries. That simply shouldn't be allowed.
I feel that's the case. You know, when I sit down and watch President Trump deliver the State of the Union, I feel like there's only a couple of Americans and folks from every place else. There
are over 30 members of Congress who could be a citizen of a foreign country because they were born somewhere else. They could have given it up when they became an American citizen. They may not, and there could be others like this little Armenian that's running against me who chose to become a citizen of another country.
So I'm surprised that people in Congress aren't for that. I mean, look, I'm very, very close with Mike Lawler. I love the guy. We've had dinner together, me and him, Capitol Grill, D.C. He wouldn't be for something like that. But I got to think there'll be other members of Congress right with you. Not really? You're not getting any traction?
The challenge is, there are some members of Congress who people like who may be dual citizens. Here's what I've learned. Change is hard. No one wants to change. Again, Democrats vicious in pushing evil on us. Republicans are like, don't be too aggressive. Don't be too harsh. Why can't we all get along?
Right. Take it easy. I know. What happened to your friend Marjorie Taylor Greene? Honestly, what happened?
Well, she quit.
I know, but what happened to her?
I don't think she's very smart. I mean, I think that's part of the problem.
But she was, look, I was told from day one she was crazy. Lawler at the Esposito.
Remember, she's space laser lady. Sometimes people cover up their views because they know.
No, she's an anti-Semite.
Yeah,
but that came later. There was a time, I'm not going to lie to you, she would get all dressed up in her Make America Great stuff. I thought she was crazy, but I thought she was certainly a good fighter for us. And then it all went sideways.
I think she wanted President Trump to endorse her for the Senate. He wouldn't do it, and she got angry about it. But she's not very smart, and I think she always was. Think about it. If you care so much about the country, why do you quit? I mean, Massey at least had the courage to stand up and let us beat him.
Right.
Marjorie Taylor Greene just gave up and walked away as a quitter.
Yeah.
Look, I'm glad they're both gone. It makes me proud to be a Republican because I look at how we've dealt with anti-Semitism on our side versus how Democrats have dealt with anti-Semitism on theirs. They've allowed it to fester and take over. We had two anti-Semites that served in Congress, and we've taken them both out.
Massey's talking about running for president. Did you see that?
Well, look, grifter's got a grift. And, look, he couldn't get people who he served for more than a decade in Kentucky to vote for him. Unlike Marjorie, he's not stupid. I mean, I think
he's a very smart guy.
His views are evil, and his views are often dumb. But look, I mean, he's a guy. He's a professional politician. Got to come up with a way to make some loot. And look, what people don't understand is you can raise all of this money and you can filter it back into your own pockets. It's not something that I do, but there are many people who do it.
Oh, I've seen that in a lot of different races. Yep. Not just Congress, mayor. All these different political jobs. People walk out wealthier than when they started, when they weren't supposed to. I want to talk about what's going on in Newark at this ICE facility, where these people go out there, and you got a governor. I call her Mikey Muhammad Cheryl. She's out there dressed as if she was walking off a plane from Afghanistan, hanging out in Passaic mosques and with clerics that were allegedly very, very bad people. And she's out there doing what all these governors do. Hochul here in New York, Newsom in Los Angeles, and obviously Walz in Minnesota, which is saying horrible things about these ICE agents. And now you get all these morons standing outside looking to fight, and the next Preddy or the next Good maybe just moments away. What do you think of when you see this stuff happening in New Jersey?
Well, it's all fake. None of this is organic. It is all paid. And by the way, the best example of this was the Israel Day parade yesterday. If this liberal cause thing was real, in this huge parade, you would have expected some people to protest somewhere. But none of this is real. It's all paid. It's all organized. These people are all professionals. It's not regular people out doing this. But I do agree with the protesters on one thing. Those detention centers shouldn't exist because we should not let these illegals pass go. They should not collect $200. Right. I am willing to work with Hakeem Jeffries and the Democrats to say, let's just get them straight on planes and let's get them home.
Good luck.
We do not need to keep them in detention centers. Get them out of the country.
Hakeem Jeffries is not a very smart person either. I'm sorry. I'm not going to go. Trump calls him a very low IQ person, but he's not a very smart person.
Look, so-called Hakeem just caters to the people who are in his caucus, but no, he's not a very bright guy.
Save America Act. Is that going to happen?
I don't know. I mean, look, the Senate has been very disappointing to me. They don't seem focused on doing the job that the voters sent them to do.
And you're talking specifically, too, about a lot of you guys tell me, both on the air and in confidence, that they're very upset with John Thune. Very upset.
I'm upset with the Senate. I hold them all responsible. I made a decision a few months ago. I said, I'm not voting for any Senate bills until they pass the Save America Act. So when you see Senate bills come through the House and you see like 5 people vote against them because they're for feel-good kinds of things, I'm one of the 5 because there will come a point when they need my vote to pass a Senate bill, and I'm going to say, you pass the Save America Act or you don't get it. What's crazy is almost every American wants what's in the Save America Act. It's not a Republican bill. It's not a Democratic bill. It's not an independent bill. Everyone thinks you should have to show a photo ID to vote. So I don't know what the issue is, and I don't know why they won't get it done.
What is at the very top of the docket for Congress to get done in the very, very near future?
Well, we have to, speaking of the Senate needs to send us the reconciliation bill to fully fund ICE and Customs and Border Patrol. We were supposed to do it before we left on our Memorial Day recess. They didn't. They got mad and they went home. Hopefully we will do it this week. The other thing we have to do...
It's going to be July 4th before you know it.
Yeah. I mean, maybe we need to put the Senate in the UFC ring and let them fight it out. But the other thing that we need to do is we need to pass the Surveillance Act that allows us to surveil foreign terrorists, Muslim terrorists, when they're in countries around the world. And that's got to get passed in the next few weeks as well.
What are the chances of that?
I think it's 100% because everyone knows that it has to be done. The overwhelming majority of the intelligence that this country operates on is collected through that bill. There have been abuses, and I understand some of the concerns. No one's dealt with those abuses more than Donald J. Trump, but he's telling us, I need this to keep America safe, and so we have to get it done.
Honest answer, Randy Fine. Don't give me the I'm a Republican and I feel good about this. Honest answer. Are we going to retain the House and the Senate?
I think we have a good shot. I don't think we know. I mean, that's what I'll say. So if the conflict in Iran comes to an end, gas prices go back down, that's a good thing. If Democrats keep nominating crazy people, that's bad for the country if they happen to win.
Well, good for us.
But they seem to be nominating the most unelectable people possible. So I am optimistic, but we do need the conflict in Iran to come to an end, but we need it to come to an end on our terms, not theirs.
Your dad is very, very cute. I miss mine. Your dad is very, very cute, and I know he's very proud of you. I know he is. I am. I'm not even your father. And you got a big afternoon coming up. I speak before you, I think. I speak at about noon. You're later in the afternoon. Jerusalem Post Conference. You make yourself available, Randy, for all these big events, which we appreciate all across the country, and you're proud to do it, aren't you?
Yeah, look, it's, as I say, we have to tell our story, the story of conservatism, the story of saving America. Look, we have no better mouthpiece than President Trump, but we all have a role to play in doing that because the evildoers are very vocal and they're often very slick and they say things that sound good. Free buses, free housing, free this. And people go, yeah, that sounds great. We have to explain why they're wrong and why their policies will destroy the country. And if I have a gift to help with that, it's something I like to do.
Free buses are $4, just so you know.
Free healthcare is very expensive.
Yeah.
Do you know the budget of the state of Florida, where I live and where I served in the legislature for 8.5 years, is half the size of the budget of the state of New York.
Oh no,
we have more people.
I know you actually now you do. We always had more people.
Yeah.
Now you've got more people. In fact, Randy, you can combine the budgets of your state and Texas, DeSantis and Abbott. It is still less than New York, which is insane.
And then your politicians say, but you don't have enough money. You don't have enough money.
Right.
Raise taxes, raise taxes, raise taxes.
That's right.
In Florida, every kid who gets a certain diploma when they graduate from high school can go to a Florida university for free. You don't offer that in New York.
Nope, I didn't.
Yeah.
Because don't forget, my kids grew up in Boca. So my son Gabriel, who's a junior in high school right now,
bright futures.
He is looking at University of Florida.
Yep.
We did that.
The overwhelming majority of Floridians that go to the University of Florida go for free.
Yeah.
And and we do that with no income tax, and we may be cutting our property taxes. Florida shows there's a different way you can govern than the insanity we see in places like New York. It's very sad because you talk about Mamdani's future. His future may be very bright because everyone with a brain is going to leave New York and come to Florida. So the only people you'll be left with are stupid people who are willing to vote for this stuff.
It's true. I get Rick Scott and Sean Hannity at least 3 days a week say to me, come back to Boca, come back to Boca. And I've thought about it more than once. It's great to see you. You really are one of my favorite people in the world today. You're great, Randy. Thank you so much for your great work. I'll see you at Jerusalem Post later on today.
Sounds good.
That is the amazing congressman of the state of Florida, really one of our finest warriors, not just the Jewish people, but American people, tremendous politician, great guy, Randy Fine.
Thanks for listening to Sid and Friends in the Morning. You can hear Sid and Friends in the Morning weekday mornings at 6. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?